All right, it's the Project Game Day postgame show after the Ravens lose 27-22 to the Steelers in what would actually be nice if we could just say it was a season-ending loss, but we unfortunately can't even say that because the Bengals lost and the Steelers could still lose plenty of games, and so we're still going to have to go through this misery for a few more weeks before we can get to that point. I don't know where Rita is. Hopefully, she'll be here. I am to understand that both Tyus and Andrew are unavailable, and I don't think that's related to the game. I don't think, but I don't know. So it might be it might be small company for this one, as KZ is here. Project Game Day post game show is brought to you by 1-800-GAMBLER and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, you can give them a call, give them a text, 1-800-GAMBLER, or visit that website, helpmygamblingproblem.org. And in a way, there's something, kind of really fascinating about this because there's a lot of micro and macro involved in this loss. There's a lot of bizarre, again, a couple of really bizarre overturns. One that I think was a shameful overturn. The other one I think they got right on the Aaron Rodgers thing, but I'm still not sure that you can say definitively that he had complete control of the football. I think they got it right, so I'm not going to freak out about it. The Isaiah Likely one, I don't think there's any world where you can say they got that right. So there's enough in there to say maybe the Ravens, it was some bad luck today, but it also was met with a lot of just bad on top of that. So it's a weird combination, and ultimately in the end, probably about right. Ken, I'll let you start.
I mean, yeah, we're all gonna talk about the overturned touchdown. Um, Look, we've said for years we don't know what a catch is. We don't know what a touchdown is. Caught the ball 2 feet down. You know,
Well, and the loose
I
definition of a football move, which in every world, like
right.
he's
Yes.
making a move. He hasn't put another foot down, but you didn't say a third foot needs to be down. It just needs to be a football move. Like we'll have to talk about that for some time. Again, it's not the entire story, but it's an absurd overturn.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Again, yes. But I don't know where to go. I mean, we're disappointed. I don't understand. I guess if you are wearing purple glasses, you're going to say, there's no way they can overturn that call. It's a bad overturn. But it wasn't even, it was right away by the, the officials and the people that look at that stuff on every scoring play. Um, Look, they lost the game in the first half. With I don't know what. Again, we're not in there. I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know why it took to midway until the third quarter to start running the offense the way the offense should be run with the RPOs and getting back to the running game. Why Keaton Mitchell can't play after he breaks off a long run, I'll never
Well, he has a
understand.
knee injury. He couldn't come
Oh,
back
did
into the game.
did he not? Okay, well
Yeah, there's
I
lots of
missed.
things we can get on
Okay,
about.
I missed
Yeah,
that. That's fine. That's
yeah.
fine. I just I don't know where to go. I mean, there's no pass rush. You let a 42-year-old
Yeah,
stand back
that's
there and pick you apart.
that's
You
embarrassing.
you when you do blitz, you never get there. You have your third corner on people. You can't cover their third wide receiver. They're a bad, as we've been saying, they're just a bad football team. And the Steelers are not good either, but that's why it was a good. That's why the Ravens were still in the game because the Steelers aren't good either. Miscommunications. We love that word in Baltimore, but in what universe is Mike Green supposed to cover a a guy out of the backfield? I mean, if that was your plan, okay, well that's your plan, and I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. They're bad. It's going to get worse. The biggest thing I don't understand, Glenn, somebody will have to explain to me is why midway through the third quarter they finally start to run their offense that we've seen when they're good. If
I
Lamar, either Lamar's healthy or he's not, he can do it or he
right,
can't.
right.
And why it took so long to see that, I don't
Well, and
understand.
I
I don't
think that's
understand.
what complicates this, right? Is because you
Yes,
finally you're like as the third and fourth quarter went on, you're like, wait, this is them. Like
But
This is the
why
thing.
is that not the plan from the first snap?
I
Why
I I don't have
I
that.
don't understand.
I
I
don't
don't
have that
understand.
answer. I don't have that answer, Ken. And I don't. I think. My guess is it's a complicated answer, but I'm terrified it's not a complicated answer. It's just.
Did Lamar just finally wake up and say, you know what? I feel like playing football now. Let's go run the offense. Otherwise, I just don't get it. And I don't want to put blame on Lamar because he's obviously been hurt most of the season. But it just makes no sense that all of a sudden it looked like that, and you're like, oh, well, where's that been for 4 weeks?
I'm with you. Let's try to bring in Rita. Rita, are you at the game? Did you go today?
I am. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi,
Hey,
sir.
look at this fella. I know him.
Y'all getting on the show right now. Let me tell y'all what happened.
What happened,
Oh
bro?
boy.
What?
Number 77, fillet of fish. Should be nowhere in anyone's offensive line anywhere. Anywhere.
Oh,
Anywhere.
oh.
Also, there was a catch. That looked like New York coming down there. He had 3 steps. Even though he told to pull the ball to the chest and head up on it, just right there.
Hmm.
We had a
Oh.
42-year-old man run around and not get his jersey dirty today. That tells us a lot.
Mr. Mayor,
You
we
heard?
got it. I heard him.
You heard
I
him.
heard him. I heard him.
You heard him. You heard what he said. I don't know what
Man.
else am I supposed to say to extra to add to that. It's not a good football team, bro. It's not a
Well,
good football team.
it's not a good. I don't disagree with you, Rita. And we talked about that for a few weeks, and yet, like they started to look like the football team they were supposed to be for a little while in the second half. And when they did, it just leaves you scratching your head about where's that team been? Where's this offense been that suddenly came to life in the second half of this game?
Okay.
And I don't get it. I think that's what, to Ken's point, the part of this that's most, look, the Isaiah Likely thing is infuriating. It's
Yeah.
infuriating. And I don't know, maybe if he scores that touchdown, the Steelers go back down and score anyway, and
Yep.
none of this matters.
Or get a field goal.
Right.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
they could have won with a field goal.
Right. If the Ravens missed the 2-point conversion, I assume they would have gone for 2 there. I don't know. But I keep coming back to like where is this? Like why did it come now? And I think Ken's question is very fair. Like, was it just a bunch? All right, the hell with it. We just got to do it. We're backs against the wall. I don't know how to make sense of an offense that looked like it couldn't do anything.
You do. You know how to make sense. This offensive line has not been good all year.
It's not just the offensive line, though. It's not just the offensive
yes,
line.
It's a comp. What is it? What is it?
The line sucks. So why are we running trick plays in the middle? Lamar coming in motion. Like, they can't block regular. They definitely can't block on a trick play. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's what the mayor said, Frank. So anyway, I look at it as this. It's a combination of, I think it starts with the personnel, and then it ends with Todd Monken. It starts with the fact that Todd Monken feels like he can only do so many things with the offensive line. And then he's not doing enough to utilize them in the way that they can. And that's the problem that I think that I have with this football team and have had with this football team all year. You know what I'm saying? Because as an offensive coordinator, it's your job to try to scheme up a way to, get to make plays. And we've talked about this for weeks in, weeks out, right? They're still not getting the ball out quickly. They're still not doing this. And in the first quarter, maybe going into the second quarter, they were just doing this run, pass. Very predictable. They weren't doing anything special. And for me, particularly that first drive, I have a problem with that because that's a scripted drive.
Well,
the first 15
the
to
third
20
down
plays.
calls to me are the ones that and they did it again in the fourth quarter. Obviously,
Yes.
They converted the fourth down, but the idea that on third down, what you're doing is just tossing a ball up and hoping for the best down a sideline.
Yeah, and that's the problem that I have. And also another thing too, y'all. What was that in the first half where they on 3rd and 9 threw the Zay in the end zone? Why are we doing this? Why are we throwing the Zay Flowers on 3rd and 9?
Like he's a jump ball guy. I get it.
Yeah, like come on.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers ain't that much taller than me. And so DeAndre Hopkins is there, Ted Walker is there. I am very confused as to why you felt like that play worked out for that player and you called that. So it's a combination of things. Like I couldn't understand some of the plays that were being called, but the things that we can't control is how bad this offensive line is. And I'm here, so I couldn't hear it. But is it true that I heard
Yeah,
that
no, a lot of people on the internet ran like
are
that
saying that
Lamar.
Lamar
Yeah,
called out?
that is not at all what Tracy Wolfson
Well,
said.
what did she say?
She said he was talking to him on the
Okay,
sideline.
but
Yeah.
here's the thing though, right? And so maybe he wasn't yelling. Maybe it's not that. But what we do know is that that's a guy that has struggled for the
Oh,
vast majority of the
yeah.
season. And maybe he was trying to have a conversation with him to uplift him. All I know is that people realize that there are problems on this team, and we all agree that there's no way of fixing that this deep into the season. But when you see those types of things, I think it does create that type of conversation, because these are the conversations that we want our quarterback to have with players that are not living up to their potential.
Well,
for
yeah,
lack
to
of
your
better
point,
term.
if Lamar Jackson just wanted to jaw out Daniel Faalele, we'd all be good with it, right?
Yeah,
Like we'd all
but I
feel
also
like,
understand that
yeah,
maybe I also understand him not like literally like going to cuss him out
yeah.
either, right? Like I understand like the dynamic of both sides. So
I I do think their offensive line is their biggest problem. I don't disagree with that, but I just still don't know how much of this, like what we saw in the first half. Yes, like the one where Faalele gets beat by the was it a safety on third down? I mean, that's embarrassing. Like that's
it's
embarrassing.
embarrassing on both sides, because at the end of the day, you let a 42-year-old run into the end zone who hadn't done that in a few years. You didn't like Brandon said, you didn't get him dirty, right? What did you just say? Mike Green, yes, he said he doesn't like. Oh,
No, we can't hear the mayor. We can't
you
hear
don't
him.
hear him? You can't hear him?
No, we
He said
can't
he
hear
crashed.
the
He said he
earbuds.
crashed. He said Mike Green, number 45, is crashing down. And he said, then he said he has a problem with that. He got a problem with Mike Green crashing down and not getting to the quarterback. That's
I
what he
mean,
said.
he literally let Aaron Rodgers duck right underneath him on one in the first half. That absolutely happened.
No, it's period though, y'all. Did he have any sacks? Did they have any sacks against 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers?
No, they did not.
Right. And therein lies the problem. Aaron Rodgers got more gray hair on his mustache than I do on the top of my head. And yet he's out there making plays and not getting hit with a bad Achilles and a left wrist that he can't move.
It's
The
embarrassing.
Ravens should be embarrassed.
It's embarrassing. There's no getting around that part. That part is utterly and completely embarrassing. And it's sort of showing that the story of the defense looking as good as it did for those 5 weeks was really just about the fact that you were playing completely incompetent quarterbacks. And that when we oversold that the Ravens defense wasn't giving up touchdowns in the first half last week, it wasn't because they were playing well. They weren't. They just happened to not give up some touchdowns. And again, this is like we can do the blame pie and say, yeah, but arguably in the end, they played well enough to win. If Isaiah Likely just kept, we could do this eternally. And I don't know what the answer is, but that's why it's all kind of fitting. It's all about right. They're just not very good. That's kind of the end of it. In the end, you could say today the defense was damn near good enough to figure out a way to win. The offense was damn near good enough to figure out a way to win. But you know what they didn't either one of them do? Neither one of them won the game. Neither one of them made the play that needed to be made when they won the game. And, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame that the Teddy Buchanan thing wasn't an interception because, you know, then at least you get that over with. You know, Cordell tweets that John Harbaugh said he was told that Likely's TD was incomplete because he didn't get 3 steps in. Hang on a second. I got to go to the rule book for a second here.
Yeah, the rule book is.
That's actually what I thought. Actually,
The
I
rule-
actually
the
thought
rule
that it was going to
book-
be 3 sacks.
The rule book is you have to have 2 steps with
And a
possession
football
of the
move.
ball
And a football move.
So the third step would have been a
So the
football
third
move.
step is
But-
a football move.
That's what I thought.
Or I'm not going to put.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. I mean, look, they have rules analysts on the TV. They have the commentators. The commentators disagreed with the rules analyst. The rules analyst said he didn't make a football move. The problem is this football move
Right.
because we don't know what the
There's
football
no
move
definition,
is.
right?
Well,
Like,
so the football move was
I
supposed to
thought
be,
it was
in my opinion,
catches
it's
of
supposed to
football.
be the third, was going to be a third step,
Right.
which
Well,
you
they
didn't
also
But
give.
then make that the rule, right? Say the rule is you got to
I
have 3
agree.
steps.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
I just it's unfortunate, and it's what we're going to go back to for again.
But we shouldn't. We shouldn't go back to
Be
that.
well. I said there's going to be two halves of this. There's going to be the diehard. I live and die with this team, and I wear purple glasses all the time. And you're going to focus on that instead of focusing on what the real problems are. And I agree with Glenn. I mean, we can say, I mean, they should have done this, they should have done that, could have won the game. They didn't win the game because they're really not consistent and they're really not good enough for 4 quarters of football. You can't play a quarter and a half of football and decide that that's good enough to beat any team in the NFL, especially the Steelers. And I don't care. We've seen this over the years. I don't care what the Steeler record is. I don't care who's playing for the Steelers. It's always a close game. It's always close. We've get through the backup quarterbacks and the backup running backs and the wide receivers you've never heard of. It's always a close game. So let's focus. Let's everybody try to take the Isaiah Likely, whatever call, non-call, overturn, take that out of the equation. Look, we're upset about it. We want the Ravens to win. There's a lot of football left after that play, even if it is a score.
Oh, there's no doubt that it's
what
like
I can't.
the third down there is just as shameful as everything
Right,
else.
I agree. I agree with all that. What I can't get, I'm having a tough time. The more we're all talking, you know, about getting through what I saw midway through the third quarter and the fourth quarter offensively, and how that is not the game plan from the first snap versus a team that gave up 250 yards on the ground last year. Like if that was the ability to do that, I don't remember an RPO in the first half. I really don't. I mean, maybe they ran one. I really don't remember
I
it.
definitely don't remember one. I'm with you.
I don't remember
Yeah.
one. And to the point, I was having a conversation with somebody else, our good friend John, during the game. It's like, why are our receivers never open? Like they're never wide open. And then they ran the RPO, and Bateman was wide open. I was like, that's why. I was like, because we don't do the thing that makes Superman, and we don't do the thing that we're good at and the way we're built that can hide the offensive line a little bit. We know they're bad, but it can hide them a little bit and it can freeze a linebacker and it makes them take pause. We don't do that. We wait until 40 minutes are gone in the game to finally do it. And we're like, oh, wow, look at that.
Well, and you can see the difference it made early on the first drive of the game. There was a play where TJ Watt got a TFL on Derrick Henry. I think we all remember it was a pretty hard hit in the backfield. He busted right through. And as they pointed out, it was one where Lamar starts sort of moving off to his right after. It wasn't an RPO. It was always going to be a give. But there was no thought. TJ Watt had no thought that it would be an RPO, didn't freeze at all for the thought of going after Lamar, and crashed right on top of Derrick Henry because there was no fear that it was going to be a Lamar keep. Based on what they had seen on film for the last couple of weeks, it made all the sense in the world for that to be the strategy. But then if you go back and look at the Isaiah Likely touchdown, because they had run a couple of RPOs, all of a sudden everyone's eyes are on Lamar. Everyone's eyes. 3 different defenders have their eyes on Lamar, and no one is looking at Isaiah Likely, who's wide open in the end zone for the one that was a touchdown. And that, Ken, is it's we keep doing this because it's so much macro micro here, right? Like,
well, but it's mind blowing. It's
yes.
just mind blowing.
And
like I don't, and that goes to me, and I don't. I'm so tired of myself saying it and talking to other people about it, about the coaches, that I don't even care anymore. But that goes to me. That's just a coaching thing. Like I don't. Unless Lamar Jackson said to you before the game, "Hey, I don't feel good. We probably shouldn't do the RPO thing."
Well,
because
or if it was part of the plan in his return from the injury. Like, look, again,
I don't know. Again,
there's a
I don't know.
lot of possibilities here.
But to not show it, to not even show it, like you could pretend to do it like a couple of times and just give the ball away. You don't know if he has the ability to pull it, but you never even did that. You never even gave them a threat for it. So after like a play or two, like you said, TJ, the Steeler defense is like, I don't have to respect it. I'm
Yeah, they're
just
not
going to
doing
crash
this.
down.
Yep,
And
100%.
it's like, but I keep on going to it because I can't get through my mind, Glenn. I can't
All
get
right.
through my mind. All of a sudden all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm okay to do this. We're okay as an offense to do this, and we're doing it. It either can or you can't.
No, I trust me. I'm puzzled. I'm bamboozled by it as well. Um, I, I got
Yeah,
no
it's
answers.
like
I got no
I know, and
answers.
there's no
I've got
answers, and we'll never know the
no
answers because we
answers
don't
to
get
it.
any answers. It's just
Well, the proper answer is you don't need to make some changes. That's the reality of it. Now, what changes is going to be, we'll find out, and it might
well,
not
they
be,
well
and it
they
might not
they
be none. And if you're cool with what the fuck you just saw, yes, I'm cursing. Today or the last few weeks, then you are a glutton for punishment, and you are okay with being mediocre. And that then now goes to the general manager and the owner of this football team. So if you are okay with what you have seen the past few weeks, if me and you are sitting on our couch and saying you're not making the necessary moves to help this offense that does not have a good offensive line, and you're saying I'm okay with going into 2026 with the same personnel,
Yeah,
you have a
can
problem.
I can I ask a question of Rita?
yeah.
Yeah,
Because what was your feeling about the contract they just gave Andrews?
I'm indifferent about it the same way that Glenn and I talked about it. And I say that because at the end of the day, while I know that Andrews has had a decline, what did Isaiah likely do for us to feel like he should have gotten that job? And that's why I feel the way that I do. So I don't have a strong opinion about it. I feel like, okay, I guess, he's a Ravens leader in all these categories. So I get it. But I feel like what happened was that likely probably overextended his hand a little bit. He lost the battle. And that's where we are. Now, I say that to say, I would hope with all of this that they re-sign Kolar because I really do like him, and then try to draft a tight end in the off season. Because I just feel like likely it's probably going to go somewhere else. But I don't have a strong opinion about that, KZ. And I think both Glenn and I had that opinion about that when we talked about that earlier this week. Just being like, I mean, we can make a case for it on
It's
both sides. And largely, I think it's because, and I think, Glenn, you could probably say this too, where we feel like Lamar probably plays a big role into, why he got re-signed.
Yeah, I think there's that, but I also just don't think the contract's crazy. Like, I just think that's reasonable money to give to Mark Andrews. And even especially as we got more of the details of the
And
contract, it
and also streets say
yeah,
that likely wanted Hawkinson money,
right.
which
So
was $4 million more per year. And they weren't going to do this. That's just the reality of it, whether we like it or not.
I think it's Ken. I feel like you're bringing that question up because you have an issue with the Andrews
I don't
contract.
know. I really I really use the exact word that I was going to use, which I'm indifferent about it. I really, it doesn't matter to me. Um, you know, they're not going to pay Isaiah Likely what Isaiah Likely probably can get on the open market. Um, as much of a I don't the way they've used Isaiah Likely this year, it doesn't fit into their scheme. Rita said something about, how they put together this football team and things like that, and just want to, like, they have to finally invest in some offensive line, and I don't know
That's the biggest thing, friend.
You know,
I
and
don't really
I
give
don't
a I
know that
don't
they
give a
have the money
damn
to
about
do
any
that.
of these skill players, quite frankly. I don't. I don't care because actually, when you look at the grand scheme of things, they're not that bad. You can't do anything with these five guys. You can't. And that to me is why I think I feel indifferent about this whole situation because at the end of the day, there Lamar feels whether it's real or whether it's ghost, he feels under duress. And that is largely because he doesn't trust the five guys that's in front of him. I don't look if you could take that $3-4 million that you thought that Isaiah likely wanted and move on and get some offensive line, then I'm 100% behind that. Because to me, the trenches are always going to be what wins football games. And as of right now, they don't have anybody on either side that can make you feel comfortable with them winning football games.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not good enough in the trenches. There's no doubt about that. It's a complicated question, Ken. I feel like there was a lot of overreaction to it, the Mark Andrews thing, and then obviously he did not have a big game today, so it leads to that's what you're paying all that money for. I just don't know that. Like and even when Rita said, hey, I think Mark Andrews is on the decline. I don't even know physically he's on the decline. I think his numbers are down. Like I think they've been declining because I think the offense hasn't been good this year. I think everybody's numbers are down. I don't even know if that physically. I don't know that I would argue that physically Mark Andrews is on the decline. I don't think he's ascending anymore. I don't think he's getting better. But I don't even know. He just, again, posted the fastest speed we've ever seen him post in his career a couple weeks ago. So I don't know that he's even on the decline. But the offense is a mess. Like it's a mess. Save for a little while in the second half today where it looked capable again. It's bizarre. And to the bigger point, again, this is why it would be really nice if the Ravens could just be buried. If like the Bengals
right,
so that we could have those conversations. And I'm not even really arguing with Rita that like I do think that somehow, some way changes are needed. I do think that's a macro micro thing, right? It might very well be that someone's opinion in that building is if this isn't really about Lamar, Ken, if like what we're asking about the offense is
right.
just that Todd Monken wasn't calling plays and Lamar never said, I can't do it, then it might be time for John Harbaugh to walk in today and say, look, we still have 4 games left, and we really do still have a chance of winning this division, so you're not going to call the plays anymore. That's a micro thing. The macro is, I agree that there are going to be changes needed at the end of the season, but we still have to get through whether it's 4 weeks or 2 weeks until they're eliminated in order to get to those conversations about what those changes are. Because I'll tell you, getting your ass kicked by Aaron Rodgers at home, I mean, like in 2025, that to me is absolutely a fireable offense. Like that's fireable for everybody. That's not a, well, we got to talk about the 13 years since it's just if this is who you are, anybody can go in that circumstance. But again, they still do have 4 games, and I don't think
I think we should just enjoy the rest of our Sundays and just.
Well, the crazy part is I don't know that they'll be favored in another game all season.
As they shouldn't be.
Absolutely
okay, they
not.
don't deserve. They don't deserve it. And at the end
Yeah.
of the day, I think we should just enjoy our Sundays. Like I'm not saying that we can't. Sorry, KZ.
No,
I'm not
go
saying
ahead.
that we can't convene and talk about what happened to the game. I just think we shouldn't care anymore. Okay, it's over. Okay, either the Steelers or the Bengals are going to win this division. That's just what it's going to be, and we just need to just be at peace. I've been at peace, so it's fine by me. I don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I don't think any Ravens fan's going to feel real good about next week going
next
to
week
Cincinnati.
The Patriots game?
No,
next
the
week
Bengals
is Cincinnati.
game. It's the Bengals game.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. No one's gonna feel good about this. I mean, you let the worst defense just do things to you that they shouldn't have done to you. So it's embarrassing. So don't be embarrassed. I'm here to tell y'all, don't be embarrassed because they're not a good football team. You, me, KZ, Tyus didn't say it, but me, KZ, Andrew, and Glenn have talked about this for over a month now. They're not good.
Well, I mean, a week ago, Tyus said he thought there really was a chance that this was coming into a complete meltdown.
Okay, well, there we are. We were unanimous.
You're 1 week closer to a complete meltdown.
Maybe Griffin probably was the light bright in this group. But guess what? We were almost unanimous in thinking that this team had The season is over. So now it's over. I'm telling y'all, it's over. Okay? The Ravens are not winning this division. Enjoy your Sundays. Don't get mad. Have the Ravens on the background. Just watch. Just because you're a fan, but don't get mad. And just watch somebody else do it. And whoever gets into the playoffs, whether it be the Steelers or the Bengals, are not going to make it far. Okay? Not one of those teams, Ravens included, we're going to make it far in the playoffs. So just enjoy the rest of your Sundays. That's all I tell everybody.
It's that thing where I'm pretty sure you're right, but until it's done, I don't think enough of the other teams.
Well, good luck to you, Glenn.
Rita, I get everything you're saying, but I just don't think enough of the other teams. We were
I just said that.
But they just lost to those other teams 2 weeks in a row.
Ken, I agree.
But what do you think about the Ravens? What exactly?
But I'm telling you right now, I don't think anything of them. But I don't know that they can't somehow go into the Bengals and win next. I don't think they will, but I don't know that they can't because I don't think Cincinnati's defense was really as good as we all thought it was a week ago, which was proven again today when they just got obliterated.
That was a snowstorm.
That's supposed to help a defense.
Yeah, but you're not. I get it. I'm more on Rita's side of this than I am with you, Glenn. I
think you're acting like I think the Ravens are good.
No.
I don't. I just can't declare it over until it's over because the other teams are terrible too.
I understand that, but look, could Pittsburgh go? I think they have Miami next week. Could Miami beat them? Sure.
Easily.
Sure. Do I expect Miami to beat them? Probably not.
I don't know how I feel about that one, honestly.
I mean, there's 4 weeks left. There's really 1 week left. Like, you lose next week, then you're almost mathematically done.
Again, unless the Steelers lose.
But I just look, if they somehow turn around, I will call it like I see it, and I will say, "Oh my God!"
You're reacting like I'm telling you. I think they're going to. I don't think they're going to.
I can't.
I just can't do the.
I can't see this.
I can't sing the swan song until.
Fine, Glenn. We get it. You gotta be that guy, and that's cool. And I'm cool with it. I'm cool with somebody. Got to be that guy, and it's gonna be you. I'm cool with that. I am cool because it's not gonna be me, and it's not gonna be KZ.
No, it's
okay.
Not.
It's not. So somebody had to be you in this group.
This is the most mild take that I could possibly offer, which is I don't think they're good. I don't think it's going to happen. I just still need to let it play out because the other teams aren't good either. Like, they're not. The Steelers should have lost this game today,
but
too.
Here's the thing. We know this. We know that. We know that. But ultimately, I feel like the Steelers at least know what it is that they're dealing with and they know what they have. The Ravens don't. They don't. I'm sorry. They don't. Like, y'all sitting here talking about, in the RPO in the second half and da-da-da-da-da. Well, they knew that they should. It took y'all that long to figure it out. That's why I don't feel some type of way about it because everybody is incompetent. Everybody involved is incompetent. And at least while the Steelers, again, if they go to the playoffs, if they make their way, they're going to get trounced in the first round like they do every year because they're not good either. But one thing I will say, and that I feel like I respect more, is that they use what works. And that's what I cannot say about the Ravens. And that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate.
If you're feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself, it could be low testosterone. At Gameday Men's Health, they specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. The treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. You can give them a call. Gameday Men's Health in Owings Mills, 443-264-4454. In Columbia, 443-266-3505. Or in Frederick, 240-931-3717. Or visit them at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Dan says you guys have gone this long and haven't brought up special teams at all. Sure.
We ain't brought up special teams. We ain't brought up Lamar and that dumbass pick. We ain't brought up a lot of things, friend. We just over here talking, just generally speaking about how the season is over. We're having a funeral.
It's all bad. We're
having a funeral.
But you know what's funny? Like, to me, the special thing, the teams thing is like a special kind of bad too, which is like it really is. And I've been trying to find this number. I don't know how to explain that. Like, morally, in my mind, The Ravens start every drive after a kickoff at their own 25-yard line, and
Yes,
every
I said
other
the
team
same
starts
thing
every
at the
drive at a
35.
40-yard line.
Everyone.
Or 35.
Everyone.
No, it's 35 and plus. I said the
Yep,
same thing,
everyone.
literally.
I don't know how to explain it because
Yes.
I can't prove that it's true.
No, but that's what we see, friend. We see it.
Every freaking time there's a kickoff, other than the one, like the one time today, and it was a horrible day for Tyler Loop. It was a wretched day. Who, again, I keep coming back to, I have no evidence that Tyler Loop is an NFL kicker. I want him to be because he was your guy, but I have no actual evidence that says that Tyler Loop can kick in the NFL. And I get it. We all this is like Colton Cowser. We like saying Loop. So, we want to root for the guy, and we want to believe. It's the same thing. Colton Cowser, nobody wants to talk about how he's not a really good baseball player because they like saying moo. But, Tyler Loop is not an NFL kicker right now. And maybe this works out that, we're not going to see him miss. They're not going to play a relevant game in late December or January, and we're not going to see him miss a kick with the season on the line. And so maybe he survives, and next year he becomes an NFL kicker. But there is literally zero evidence that we have that says that Tyler Loop can kick in college. He can make all the kicks that a college kicker is supposed to make. I mean, save for all the extra points that he's missed.
Well, wait a minute. Hasn't he only missed one extra point?
No, he had missed at least one other one.
He missed one against Buffalo, and they lost by 1 point.
Yeah.
Well, they ain't lose by 1 point today. So.
Tyler Loop has never done anything that says he's an NFL kicker. And yes,
he's never had a pressure kick. I agree with you.
And he's only made one. He's never made a kick longer than 52 yards.
Well, he's only tried 3. They've only allowed him to try 3.
I mean, in part because they clearly don't think he can make them.
Well, in part because their offense has been wretched for a month, or plus most of the year. But I don't know if he is or he isn't. My biggest problem with Loop, and I really don't know if it's a him thing or it's a coaching thing, is that he never kicks the ball into the end zone. He's come up short a couple of times. Well, the one today that went out of bounds, whatever. I mean, the Pittsburgh kicker kicked one out of bounds. That happens every once in a while. But it's almost like he's being told to kick it to the 10 every time.
They clearly are trying that, but he's coming up short of the landing
right,
zone, and yet
I
keep
understand.
trying
so
to do
fucking
it.
Stop.
So just tell him to boom it.
I get
it through the end zone.
But then again, it's back to if the other kickers can do this and your kicker, the Ravens are always starting on the 25-yard line because the other kickers can make the kick that forces them to return the ball. If your kicker can't, that means he's not an NFL kicker. That's a problem.
We've seen it all year. Like last year, they were having a problem, and they decided that Stout could do it, so they put him in. I still don't understand why that hasn't been tried.
I'm
just
there's
saying.
An absolute argument for it.
Like last year, we had this discussion. It's the kicker's leg wasn't what it used to be.
That's why I'm ready. That's why I'm.
I know.
I'm good for everybody.
I'm good for everybody to go.
I'm ready for a fire sale.
Rita wants to blow it all up.
No, I'm not even mad, y'all. I'm not even mad. I'm not mad. If we're still having conversations from last year, then maybe it's the people running the show. And maybe you need new people. And look, I am not that person, y'all. I believe that you got to be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And that means that whoever you replace ain't gonna be good. Okay? But I cannot deal with this kind of incompetence anymore. It's been bad, horribly bad. And something has to change. And maybe that means everybody has to go to prove some points around here.
And we'll get there. Again, they're not doing that this week. And that's the difficulty of this. They're not doing that this week. And that doesn't mean that they shouldn't consider making
I'm not asking,
caller.
by the way, I'm not asking them to. I'm just saying that you need to start looking. My opinion, start looking now. Start looking at what your potential replacements are right now. You got
from Jeff. Jeff says, why didn't they call a timeout after? Oh yeah, this was the third down. We talked about this. The third down play after the touchdown had been taken off the board when it was clearly discombobulated and they were moving Derrick Henry around and it was going nowhere? Why didn't they take a timeout? Great question. Rita, you muted yourself. I don't know if you're trying to talk to us, but you muted yourself. Okay.
I'm not trying to talk to y'all. I'm trying to get to this line, on the light rail.
Trying to get on the light rail.
Yes, thank you. So let me just maneuver my way and just ignore me.
It's a difficult. It actually, like, what's difficult about it is you could argue it's a hell of a time to take a timeout, because if you don't score, you're going to want those timeouts to stop the clock, and obviously it hurt them to not have a timeout. Also, look, that penalty on Keandre Jackson, who we praised for a lot of the season, but that's a disastrous penalty. I mean, it's a disastrous. Add it to the pile when it comes to special teams. That is an unfathomably disastrous penalty when you're giving up, and then clearly the penalty right afterwards that bumped them to 1st and 20, they never really recovered from and never had a chance at the end. So I can understand, hey, you don't want to use a timeout here, but this is the spot. Like, you need to score a touchdown right here. Right here, you need to score a touchdown. This is the moment. So, yeah, if you don't like what you see, 1,000%, that should have been a timeout to figure that out. And
you still would have had 3 stoppages on the clock.
Yeah, 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning, correct.
Right. So it just, I agree with him. I didn't get it.
And they kind of got away with a bad decision, too, because they took the timeout after the second down play when they clearly should have just let that run down to the 2-minute warning, because then you're encouraging the Steelers
you saved
to throw
11
the ball.
seconds for nothing, right?
Yeah.
I had the same thought, but I thought that maybe I was tripping, and then it was me, and then I had a thinking problem.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to feel vindicated in the sense that
Save 40 seconds instead of 11 seconds is the
right.
point.
Right.
That's all I was thinking, friends.
Correct. That's they
one of the many reasons why you just got to move along, because that made no sense. And as a head coach, you're running the show, and you felt like that was necessary. And I'm sorry, that's stupid. And here we are.
Best place to watch every big game, every big fight night is Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the 100-foot media wall, the great food and drink specials. They show all of the fights, never pay pay-per-view prices. Watch Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Yes, John Harbaugh did not give an update on Keaton Mitchell. Look, man, if Keaton Mitchell has a serious knee injury, then
again,
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I mean,
as you should.
I'm gonna cry.
You should.
He said they would know more tomorrow. That's all they have.
That doesn't sound good. And ultimately, at the end of the day, this season is over anyway. So I'm sad for Keaton, because he is a dynamic football player, and he definitely is a great 1-2 punch, but ultimately it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. The team is not, whether Keaton Mitchell was going to play or not, doesn't change any trajectory of where they're going to be, which is down south. They're going to lose 2 more games, guys. Just letting you know. Maybe 3.
John Harbaugh argued that he thought that Aaron Rodgers should say he did not survive the ground on the play.
It's an interception.
Yeah,
that's a little bit begging. No,
Enough.
they got that. Look,
Enough.
They got that one right.
Yeah, this is a weird one for me, right? Because this goes back here. I'll make the comparison. You want something to be angry about? DK Metcalf pushed off on the first catch of the game.
Right.
The 55-yarder.
That's 100% true.
Without question.
Yep.
Pushed off Marlon Humphrey.
Yep.
And you know what? Marlon Humphrey's had an up and down season. Maybe one of the problems Marlon Humphrey has is that he was not more animated about it in that moment. He sort of said, like, come on, instead of being furious about it. He absolutely pushed off. And to the point of, we said this a week ago, it's the infuriating part about what happened last week is that was less egregious than this one. And I don't blame at all Marlon Humphrey for being infuriated, because it makes no sense. If you're just never going to call push-offs, then just never call push-offs, I guess. Like, make it part of the rule. But that one undoubtedly was terrible. The Aaron Rodgers one, I think I'm with you, Ken. It's one of those, like, in a past world, they would have just stuck to the call on the field, because that's the way that they did it. They just said, when it's close, we just always stick to the call on the field. In this world where they want to try to get...
If that's the case, wouldn't they have just kept the touchdown?
The likely, right, yeah. in this world where they attempt to get the calls right, allegedly, I do think ultimately that probably is right. So he didn't survive the ground is a really interesting part of the argument that I hadn't thought about at all, because it's just not a scenario where you ever think about surviving the ground. Like, it's just such a bizarre scenario, but I don't know. That's not the one. That's going to be really hard for me to argue and scream about. Hey, John. Hey, Glenn, 3 weeks ago, you asked your panel if we go 1-3 over the next few weeks, what would be the reason? I said we would be out-coached. Am I right or wrong? Partly right. I mean, again, how much of it is coaching? How much of it is offensive line? How much of it is the defense just isn't very good? I think there's a fair blame pie that we could split up, and give slices to. But there's no doubt that I think a slice of it for sure is about coaching. Like, no doubt. From Sam, everything about the trenches on our team is bad, defense or offense. Completely agreed. I think we all wildly and overwhelmingly agree, and that's the kind of the end of the story. Said even though Highsmith isn't a game wrecker, every team in contention has a guy who can get to the quarterback at the end of the game. We literally have not even a mediocre guy. I'll stop you when you're wrong. I mean,
keep going.
I'll stop you.
The callers are on fire.
I'll stop you when you get to a part that, I would say definitively is incorrect. But
we all see the writing on the wall. Glenn, you're the only one that's got this little glimmer of hope.
You're making
and that's fine.
No, Rita, you're overstating it.
I'm not. That's what you said. You did.
No, I'm saying I think the other teams are horrible, and so until it's over, I can't say it's over.
That's a coping mechanism. And I'm
no,
sorry.
It's not.
It's not about the other teams. It's not. It's not about the other teams.
It is about the other teams.
It's not, because Green Bay is not horrible. The
that
Patriots are not horrible.
With.
They're on the schedule. So no, it's not. It's not like okay, the Bengals and the Steelers are, but they have two other games against two teams that are not horrible. So
right, but I think they can get into the playoffs at 8 and 9.
I'm just telling you that it comes. Okay, that's not happening. Okay,
why not? Whoa! Why in the world do you think that there's no chance? There's not a chance that a playoff team is going to be 8 and 9?
Because I know that the Ravens' schedule is harder than the other ones. That's why.
Okay, the Steelers still have to have Detroit and still have a Dolphins team that I have no idea.
I'm sorry.
That they're
I'm sorry. Y'all can sit here and say that. I'm just not riding with the fact that I think that the Dolphins are. I don't take the Dolphins seriously. I'm just going to be honest here. I don't take the Dolphins seriously. And then there's the Bengals, who has a lighter schedule as well. So I'm sorry. The
Bengals can't go better than 8 and 9.
They'll have
they have to go 8.
They have no. This is true. They don't have.
This is the problem. The problem is,
but the Ravens have already been 0-1 against the Bengals.
I agree with that.
That's
Rita.
my point.
And by the way,
that is my point.
If and or when the Ravens lose in Cincinnati next week, it will definitively be over. Yeah, but they have to do that.
It's over. Okay,
That's the coping mechanism.
I understand that mathematically they're not out. I get it. It's over.
Okay. That's the coping mechanism.
Over.
The coping mechanism is, I know it's going to be over, so I'm saying it's over now.
I know it's going to be over because they have two teams that are much better than the Bengals and the Steelers, who they've lost to on their
and
schedule.
I think they might very well lose those two games. And if those are the only two games they lose, I think they're winning the division at 8 and 9.
Okay.
This is how bad the division is.
I agree that the division is bad.
The Bengals lost today. The best they can do is go 8 and 9, and they are 1,000% still in the picture. In the picture. And I don't even know which hand I'd rather have between them and the Steelers at the moment.
Rich, do we have a line yet for next week?
Who cares?
I do.
Okay.
Why, you want to get an early bet in?
Yeah, obviously.
I want to get an early bet in.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I be forgetting that your ass be betting. So there's that.
By the way, and just a reminder, the only game the Dolphins have lost over the course of the last 6 weeks was to the Ravens. That's their only loss in their last 7 weeks.
Doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't mean anything to me. I just don't take them seriously.
I know you,
Rita.
That's the part that you're again, I understand where you are. I get it. And you're right. They're not good. Nobody's arguing with that. But everyone is bad. They're all bad. They're terrible.
I just know they don't play the Pats and the Packers. That's what I do know.
You telling me that the Steelers are definitely going to beat the Dolphins next week, and nothing about the Steelers says they're definitely going to beat the Dolphins next week. Like, they're bad. They're a bad football team that just happened to win today.
Yes, because the Dolphins are so much better. You're right.
Right now, the Dolphins are definitively better. Like, indisputably better. The Dolphins have gone 5-1 over 6 weeks.
Who have they played? I'm serious. This is a serious question.
The Dolphins?
Yes.
Go back and look.
Oh, here, I'll pull it up.
They beat the Bills. They beat the Falcons.
True.
They beat the Commanders.
Don't care about the Falcons. Don't care about the Commanders.
But this is you're going to do the thing where nothing matters.
Yeah,
then nobody's beating anybody.
Okay. The Bills is the one team that I'm going to give you all the accolades for because nobody saw that
Tell
coming.
me what the Steelers have done that makes you think that they're a sure thing to win a football game.
But I know that Tua is not better than Aaron Rodgers. That's what I know.
I mean, I don't know that he's worse.
Okay.
I mean, like, Aaron Rodgers isn't good.
He ain't worse than Tua.
I don't know, friend. I don't know that that's true. I have no idea if
All
that's
right.
true or not.
I watched a 42-year-old man run into the end zone.
That part,
friend.
that's why we know the Ravens stink.
Okay.
We know the Ravens stink because they couldn't stop shitty Aaron Rodgers. Shell of himself, awful, god-awful.
These are the same Ravens who didn't let the same Miami Dolphins that you're talking about not score touchdowns. See what I'm saying? See how this goes? See how this works?
Right, I know. That's why I say I don't know who's going to win the game. I have no idea.
I know I'm not picking them. That's what I do know.
Okay. This has been a day. This has been a day. Costas Inn. There's 2 locations now for the Costas Inn. A new one that's open in Timonium, and you can go there right now and enjoy everything that you can enjoy at the OG Costas Inn, with the only exception being that they don't do steamed crabs at the new one. It is a wonderful place for your holiday gatherings, the Costas Inn and the new Costas Inn open in Timonium. And from Ed says, boy, what do you think it will take? Will it require them to lose out in order for a change to actually be made? It's a similar question. John asked something similar. John said, does 6-10 or 7-9 mean Harbaugh is gone? Well, they play 17 games now, so it would be 6-11 or 7-10. I don't know. There's holy shit. Where is
Ravens
that?
-3.
From? No.
That says apparently FanDuel.
What's it?
Ravens -3 and
Ken's
Cincy.
about to. Ken's not going to have a house because he's about to go put it on the Bengal.
DraftKings and FanDuel both have -3.
I gotta go.
It's so objective.
I said this last week.
Funny.
I said this last week that I wanted the Steelers +6 immediately. I'm
God.
locking this in.
How in the world?
That's what's going to be on Thursday when we pick
do.
it.
The reason I asked Glenn is because I just knew that's what the line was going to be because the Bengals lost to them.
No, yeah, so did the Ravens.
No, but Vegas thinks the Ravens are good.
Oh, I know that. Yes,
I
know that.
So because Vegas thinks that, they're going to say, "Oh, well, they lost the close game, came down the last one. Bengals can't beat anybody. That was a fluke 2 weeks ago." I think it's ridiculous. Hold on, I gotta hold on.
Yeah, Ken is putting everything that he possibly can. Ken's about to take out a loan. How many mortgages can a man have on a house? He's about to have all of them.
Yeah, the point keeps on emailing me. I have to email him back.
Oh God, that is so funny. That is so objectively funny. To the answer, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, right? Like, I can't give you that answer. I can give you opinions, but I don't know. I don't know what their decision would be. It would be very hard for me to fathom them losing out and anyone surviving at that point. I mean, if this bottoms out to 6-11, I can't fathom how anyone survives that. But do I know that? No. I don't know that, and I know the Ravens historically don't want to pay coaches to not coach. Like, that's and it's the Steelers are very similar in that way. It's one of those things.
So is anyone getting relieved of duties tomorrow?
I mean, I'd still be surprised.
I'd be shocked. look, I think everybody should be, but
Even given Harbaugh's vocal frustration with
yeah, I mean
Monken all
that to
season.
me was like last week presented the opportunity for that. You have 3 extra days. You have 3 extra days to and do whatever you want to do if you're going to make a change. They didn't do it, so
I know you don't like bringing this up, but what wasn't it like week? It was this same week when they fired Cam Cameron, right? And was that an extended?
It was, but again, that was Steve Bisciotti. Steve Bisciotti made that decision. Like that's how that went. So there's always the chance that Steve Bisciotti is going to walk in and say, I was embarrassed by this. But he didn't do it last week, and so I just don't know why this would be the week that he would suddenly do it. Could he? Sure.
Well,
I mean, I can't predict the future. I would be surprised. That doesn't mean it's impossible. But, to the point, and I get we probably said similar things in 2012, but I don't really know what other play callers, although, as we pointed out, the plays they were calling in the second half looked a lot better. All right. Ken, fire somebody. Go ahead.
It's tough because I haven't
fired him already?
you know what? I haven't fired him this year, but follow Haley. Bye-bye.
Wow. How have you not fired?
I know because I
How is
haven't.
that possible?
I know because it's been when Lamar didn't play, even though it was bad, it was like, am I really picking on a team? But I haven't fired him this year. So
that does seem like an easy one. I won't argue with you.
It seems like I'm cherry picking there, but I can't. I get it. They have nobody else apparently, I'm just go back to how much worse can it be? But I guess it can be worse.
They certainly think it can be.
I just don't. Anybody would be okay with me. I don't care who they are.
All right. Don't forget 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygambling.org. Ken, don't forget 1-800-GAMBLER. Help my gambling problem.
I may need that.
Seems like he's betting smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to be back together. I think that we're going to have a better. I think we will see. I don't know. It's been one of those weeks. It's just been one of those weeks. So thank you for hanging out with us. We will see you next week.